we have a...
Sure, yeah, no, you can do that if it's time before we have a quorum, and the city clerk can just note when Councilmember Stollard joins.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So, all right, I'm gonna call to order the February 15th State of Woodland Council meeting. So just today's meeting is being held, conducted pursuant Government Code Section 54953, which allows the city to hold meetings via teleconference during a state of emergency when we have imposed local recommended measures to promote local social distancing. Okay, and this meeting is being held via Zoom and will be broadcasted via Woodland TV Channel 20. We invite the community to participate, and ways to do so are outlined in the agenda. Okay, and then Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? Oh, I see Councilmember Stollard just in time. Okay. Madam Clerk, will you call this roll for us?
Yes, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez.
Present.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena.
Present.
Councilmember Landsberg.
Present.
Councilmember Stallard.
Present.
Mayor Vega.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay. And I will pledge of allegiance. And I'm wondering if Pastor James would lead us with the pledge of allegiance.
Yes, I sure can. Let me stand as well. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item D, public comment. So, Madam Clerk, are there any members of the public who have submitted an email or left a voicemail for general public comment for items not on tonight's agenda?
I do have one email from Michael Friedman, and the only comment is more members for your boxing studio. And that's the comment.
Okay. Thank you for that. And any hands raised?
No.
See any? Okay. Thank you. All right. So now we will move on to communications. So I'll start off with Council Member Garcia Cadena. Do you have a message for tonight?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I wanted to thank Ken and all of our city staff for putting together such a well-organized retreat that we had this past Saturday. I think it's really important that we meet like this and regularly go over our goals and continue to review them and see where we need to focus our energy a little bit more and reflect on the things that we have completed. And so I just really appreciate all the work that went into it. It was a long day, but it was well worth it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia Cadena. Councilmember Landsberg.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just today, Woodland Davis Water Board received an update from our staff regarding 2022. It looks like the 2022 water supply is going to be more of a challenge than 2021. We received notice from the United States, the Bureau of Reclamation, indicating that this is another Shasta critical year. What this means to us is that perhaps we're going to get another 25% reduction in our summer water rights, which is going to affect all of us. My suggestion is that we start a collective rain dance, and hoping that it rains and snows up north when we really need it. But what we can do in the meantime also is work towards conserving what we do have. Our staff works very hard on making sure that we have an adequate supply of clean, fresh water. We should do our part to conserve as much as we can. It's going to be a very tough year. Also wish to extend a big thank you to all the staff members who provided council members with a packed and important agenda at our workshop this last weekend. I know that all of you put in a tremendous amount of work to make sure that we had information that we need so that we can have a meaningful discussion about our goals in the coming year. I also want to thank each and every one of my colleagues. We had a great time. I think we all got along just swell and that we all participated, and I think we worked well together. I hope you agree with me. So thanks to all of you for a great workshop. And Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Stollard. Maybe next meeting you can lead us an interpretive dance, rain dance, and that could be part of our council communication. Councilmember Stollard?
Yes, and I join my colleagues in expressing gratitude for our retreat. It turned out way beyond my expectations. It was only the second time we've been together in a working context, basically since the last retreat, which was over a year ago. So it was great. I love the way we work together. I just always feel it's a safe environment for us to speak our minds, and I think that's the best way to operate. I also think the staff is really terrific. Most of our department heads were there that day with us, and I appreciate their giving up their time as well. And then I want to say thank you to the commissioners from the boards that made it to our afternoon session. You know, we've always been concerned about communication with our commissions, and this was a great opportunity to see them, to assess their progress, and perhaps see areas where we can perhaps change a few things for the better. So that's that. Also, city manager and I had a Zoom call with SACOG staff over their draft trails plan, which showed that Woodland was undetermined. And we had a nice little session there and got that back on track. So real happy about that. Other than that, I don't think I have anything more to share at this time. Thank you. Are you on mute?
Oh, yes, thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Councilmember Stollard. Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez?
Thank you, Mayor Vega. Again, I will echo everything that my colleagues said. Thank you to our staff, and thank you to our city attorney, Ethan Walsh, who donated his time, volunteered his time to be with us Saturday. So thank you. I'd also like to take a couple of recognitions. This month is Black History Month, and so I'd like to acknowledge Congressman John Lewis, who passed away, and we had the honor of hearing him give the commencement speech at King Hall here at UC Davis in 2016, and just the inspiration that he shared with the graduates of the law school on the importance of being involved in their communities and going back and serving their communities and being willing to get into good trouble to make positive change. So I just want to acknowledge that his work continues in Congress and through our involvement in city government and in our involvement in the elections. Also, on that same note of making a change or difference in your community, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Garth Lewis, who is the superintendent of Yolo County Schools here in Woodland or in Yolo County, who was recognized as one of the top 25 Black change makers by the Sacramento Bee. So I want to acknowledge Dr. Lewis's work in our community with the students of Yolo County and making a positive difference in their lives. And in that same note, thank you to all the board commissioners and board representatives who attended Saturday's meeting, and remind the public that there will be an opportunity to, or there are a few openings that will be available coming up shortly. So don't be afraid to get involved. We appreciate your input. We appreciate the your willingness to make a difference, a positive difference in our community. So thank you. And lastly, just a reminder that the Advisory Redistricting Commission will have, I believe, their last meeting this February 16th, which is tomorrow. So if you haven't been involved or would like to find out what has been occurring, we'll be receiving those redistricting maps shortly for review by the council. So thank you to the commission for their work and their commitment to serve our community and again, make a positive difference. So thank you, Mayor Vega.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez. And for myself, I will echo what my colleagues mentioned about our retreat, our planning session on Saturday. I was really, really happy with the way that it all worked out. And what really excited me was hearing about all of the achievements and the progress that we made on our goals. So it's just attribute the success to the staff working together to really move forward those initiatives. And one of the things that came to mind for me is just how we were able to have some great dialogue where we aren't able to move some of the needles or progress hasn't been made, and talked about what opportunities we have to move the needle on those. So I think it was a great session. Appreciate all the commissioners who took out part of their Saturday afternoon to spend it with us, and I'm looking forward to this year and seeing those initiatives that we laid out and seeing them come to fruition. So thank you for that. And I know we have some guests, so City Manager Hyatt, after your update, can we go into the present? So we can go into presentation first, item F, or go into the proclamations. I get our Council Wash a little bit of help on that, since we do have some guests today joining us.
Yeah, certainly. I think as soon as I finish remarks here, we'll jump straight into presentations and get our guests here engaged and be able to celebrate those proclamations. I'll be brief. I too want to just acknowledge what a great Saturday we had together, and appreciate the council's attendance, and full participation. We're on behalf of staff, I think very grateful to have the council that we have to work with. And just the camaraderie that was built, but also just the sense of unity that I walked away with in terms of where we want to head as a community, and the commitment that we all have to continue to serve and be better. So appreciate that. We will be taking the feedback that we received both from the council as well as the commissions, digesting that and scheduling a time for the council to take a look at a fresh set of updated goals and strategic actions at the upcoming meeting in March. So thank you for that. Quick update on COVID. As expected, our numbers continue to decline from a case positivity standpoint, as well as health system capacity. So continue to trend positively there. As council has heard, the state as well as Yolo County has followed suit with a lessening of the face covering requirements. So effective tomorrow here in Woodland, as well as the county and the state. The modified guidance around face masks has been lessened for those that are fully vaccinated. They continue to message the county health officer that continue to encourage folks to wear masks, but the requirements for those that are fully vaccinated for indoor environments will no longer be required. Also, just quick attention regarding upcoming meetings. Our March 1st council meeting, regular meeting, we will be introducing the mid-year budget update for the council. We have some significant adjustments that we will be working through at the staff level and presenting to the council with some mid-year changes to the budget, and give you a look ahead at what to expect for the balance of this budget year. So I will conclude there, Madam Mayor, give it back to you, and proceed with the presentations.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Hyde, appreciate it. Okay, so now we're on to presentation. So item number 2 is a public recognition and appreciation for Police Service Dog Chase, which I see joining us. After 7 years of dedicated service to Woodland, Police Dog Chase has retired from public service. The City Council would like to recognize Chase's career and service to Woodland and has prepared a proclamation of appreciation. Officer Shepard, who's here joining us, was selected and worked with Chase through his entire 7-year career with Woodland PD. So, Officer Shepard, would you like to say a few words? I can't imagine saying bye to your companion after 7 years.
Well, it's not really bye. I mean, he's living here with me, as you see, and living the good life. It's a little weird going to work in a quiet car, and I've got a lot less dog hair on me. But I'm able to talk on the radio. It's been good for him so far. He was having some arthritis in his leg. I was giving him carprofen, some doggy ibuprofen, 2 weeks off the streets, and he doesn't even need the medicine anymore. He's just relaxing, playing chuck it, and getting a little more gray every day. But yeah, it's not bye. He's still with me. He just doesn't come to work with me anymore. It's weird in a quiet car, though. I'll tell you that much.
Got it. Well, how wonderful that he can still continue to be with you and retire. Thank you, Chase. Look at that. Thank you, and also I'll open it up to my colleagues to see if anybody wants to say a few words to Chase or Officer Shepard.
I'll chime in. David, I know the dedication it requires of an officer to become a K-9 officer. It affects you personally, and affects your entire family. So you're the one that should be congratulated, because I don't think the dog understands what you're doing tonight, but you do. So you should be thanked for the work that you put into Chase. I'm glad his name is Chase and not Bite. So thank you for your efforts, and happy retirement to Chase. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam Mayor, I'll go ahead and jump in. So I also want to just express my appreciation for all that you and Chase have done. When you look at Chase's incredible record, it's pretty amazing. The rifles to methamphetamine. Chase has really definitely earned his retirement, and so I wish him well, and I'm glad that he has you there to see him through his old age there.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just hope that the only thing Chase has to catch from now on is Frisbees. So happy retirement, and Officer Shepard, thank you for loving that dog and taking care of him in his well-earned retirement.
It's been a pleasure.
Where's the rest of the family?
Oh, looks like my wife is doing my daughter's toenails on the other side of the computer. And then our home dog, Blaze, is right here next to me feeling jealous, I think.
Oh. Equal time, Jay.
Well, Mayor Vega.
Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez?
Yes, thank
please
you.
proceed.
Just wanted to acknowledge Officer Shepard and Chase. Thank you for your service to our community, and appreciate all the commitment that you've spent with Chase, and thank your family for us for their willingness to take care of Chase now that he's retired. So thank you again for everything that you've done.
And isn't a dog year, 7 years equal to 7? That dog's 49 years of service. He must get a first retirement by now.
He gets a lot of greenies. He likes those.
Thanks again, Dave.
Thank you. Officer Shepard, maybe Chase can come and join our council meeting now that he doesn't have much to do, He can come participate.
He's always got a lot to say.
All right, thank you, Officer Shepard, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to item G, the consent calendar, which includes items 3 to 11 on our agenda. So I'll ask my colleagues if there are any items they would like to remove for further discussion.
Mayor Vega, I'm just wondering if we could possibly pull 10 and 11 and do those proclamations now?
I think we can do that. All right, so would we do those separate, or, is that a hand raised, Councilmember Stoller?
I was going to suggest we adopt the consent calendar because they're on the consent calendar and then make the presentations.
Okay, so is there any public comment?
And Madam Mayor, I do have one staff communication relative to the consent calendar, and that pertains to item number 7, which was the Salvation Army request for sale and conveyance of property for a lot line adjustment correction. Staff would like to have the council entertain a supplemental recommendation relative to this item, and that is to simply provide additional authority to the city manager and direction to staff to negotiate a facade easement on that north wall of that property that's subject to the lot line adjustment. Happy to give more details on that if the council desires, but we've had conversation with the other party to the transaction, and they're willing to work with the city on that.
Is there any comments, or my colleagues don't see any hand raised? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Stallard is happy to move the consent calendar, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so motion by Councilmember Stallard. Okay, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez. Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please do a roll call vote?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena,
Aye.
Councilmember Landsberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Stallard,
Aye.
Mayor Vega.
Aye.
Thank you. Consent calendar carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now we'll move on to our proclamation. So we have a Black History Month proclamation, and we have a guest, Pastor James Robinson from the Second Baptist Church here in Woodland. He's here to receive the proclamation proclaiming February's Black History Month. Please welcome Pastor Robinson and acknowledge, so I wanted to acknowledge his presence at the Martin Luther King celebration on January 15th. It was a pleasure to get to meet Pastor and to have him participate in our celebration on the 15th. Okay, and I'm gonna ask Councilmember Garcia Cadena to please read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Vega. Welcome, Pastor Robinson. So I have my glasses on so I can read this. Black Health and Wellness, February 2022. Whereas Black History Month was developed by Carter G. Woodson, known as the father of Black history, whose parents were enslaved, was an author, historian, and the second African-American to earn a PhD at Harvard University. And whereas he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the theme for 2022 focuses on the importance of Black health and wellness, and whereas this theme acknowledges the legacy of not only Black scholars and medical practitioners in Western medicine, but also other ways of knowing, such as birth workers, doulas, midwives, naturopaths, herbalists, etc., through the African diaspora. And whereas in order to foster good health and wellness, Black people have embarked on self-determination, mutual aid, and social support initiatives to build hospitals, medical and nursing schools, including McCary Medical College, Howard University College of Medicine, Providence Hospital and Training School, Morehouse School of Medicine, etc., and community clinics. And whereas the fields such as public and community health and health informatics has led to a rise in preventive care and a focus on body positivity, physical exercise, nutrition, exploring other dietary options such as veganism and vegetarianism and gardening. And whereas Black health and wellness not only includes one's physical body, but also emotional and mental health. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Woodland does hereby proclaim the month of February 2022 as Black Health and Wellness. Dated today and signed by us, the council members. Mayor Vega, you are muted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Garcia Cadena. So I'll open it up to Pastor James to see if he would like to say a few words tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'll be very brief. And also, well, first of all, again, thank you for having me. I'm humbled to be able to join in the conversation and to accept the proclamation. The only thing I would like to say is, Black health, well, not just Black health, but all health is very important. But as we focus and as we recognize Black History Month, we take a look at the health of the Black community. Mental health is very important because it's often stigmatized and frowned upon, especially in the Black community. So I'm definitely happy about the proclamation. And again, just thank you for having me.
Mayor Vega?
Councilmember Stubbs.
I wanted to thank Pastor Robinson for accepting the pastorate of the Greater Second Baptist Church here in Woodland. The Black community is a small community in our city in terms of numbers, but it's an important part of our community, and we love everybody here, and we just want everybody to feel included. And I hope you will always accept our willingness to hear anything you think we need to be doing to make sure that nobody feels left behind in this town. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stoller. Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Pastor James. We'll sign this and I'll deliver it to you. Thanks again for being with us tonight and for your service to our community.
Most definitely. And again, thank you for having me. God bless.
God bless you. Good evening. Okay, and our second proclamation tonight is the Women in Construction Week proclamation. So we have Maria Patson here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation this evening. All right, so the City of Woodland proclamation, Women in Construction Week. So this is for March 6th through the 12th. And whereas the National Association of Women in Construction, Sacramento chapter number 63 has distinguished itself for 60 years as the voice of women in construction in the Sacramento region as well as Northern California. And whereas the work done by the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has benefited the region through community development and educational programs. And whereas the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has unceasingly promoted the employment and advance of women in the construction industry. And whereas the construction community represented by Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has been a driving force in fostering community development through renovation and beautification projects, promotion of skilled trades careers, and positive vision for the future. And whereas the Sacramento chapter of NAWIC has sought to achieve successful results for the Sacramento region and surrounding areas in a cooperative spirit with other organizations. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Woodland does hereby recognize National Association of Women in Construction, Sacramento chapter number 63 as its many dedicated volunteers for its steadfast work on behalf and support of women in construction, and do proudly proclaim the week of March 16th through the 12th, 2022 as Women in Construction Week, and encourage our citizens to congratulate the organization on its many accomplishments. And presented on behalf of council. So, Ms. Maria, would you like to say a few words tonight?
Thank you, Mayor Vega and City Council of Woodland. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and that you guys did read and hear all of the things that we've done and went to our website and seen how the 60 years that we've been in this community has impacted the community and our involvement. Our involvement has been numerous activities, and the women that really do the work with NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction, the work that we do and volunteer for has impacted so many lives. And we hear every day from women, if it wasn't for the opportunities and education that we provide, the mentoring, the networking and support, they would not have stayed in the construction industry. So hearing that some days is enough, just keep working through it. And other days seeing the project work and then getting the recognition like these proclamations from our region means so much to young NAWIC members and our seasoned NAWIC members. I want you to know that our membership is all over the world. We have membership in Ireland and in Scotland and England. We have some membership in Australia and Africa. So we are not just here in California doing great things in our region, but we're all over. And I hope that each of you enjoy WIC Week. Come and join us for our lunch and learns. Come to one of our events where we're showcasing a job walk for a new project, like a firehouse that we have for this week. And we have some virtual happy hours, again, job site tours. And we're highlighting a number of women in construction that are making historical impact in the building and construction trades. So thank you very much for this proclamation. I cannot even state to you how excited we are that you guys are supporting this. So.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. I just want to say, on my drive, every morning, drop my daughter off at school. She's 5 in kindergarten, and she always calls out when she sees women out on projects. And we had a whole discussion, and I said, you can work on these projects, and it's amazing for her to see that. So thank you. And celebrating all of the women, we will be celebrating all of the women that are out there in construction and representing and being role models for these little girls out there.
Thank you. In fact, I just did the camp for Girl Scouts to show them what they could do, show them how to read a tape measure and how to use a saw and cutting tools and PPE. So yes, we do it from very early. And we go to the colleges and speak on behalf of the construction and building trades. So I'm so happy to hear that your daughter's doing that. That's perfect. That's kind of lovely.
Yes, no, great. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. So let me see. So now I think we're on to item H. Reports of the city managers, item number 12, Mattmore Road and East Gum Avenue Rehab Project.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Vega. I'll do a quick intro, and then City Engineer, Community Development Director Brent Meyer will do a brief presentation. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to highlight this important project and the city's ongoing efforts to continue to address the roadways throughout our community that are in need of repair and improvements. This project in particular is one that has been long in coming, and we're excited to be at this point to ask the council to give us approval of the plans and authorize bid for the project. So this is essentially 1.5 miles worth of our roadway in our community and part of the older part of our town, which is in need of not just roadway repair, but improvements that come along with the roadway dollars that we receive from SACOG through grant funding, matched with our local Measure F sales tax dollars. So it's a great story to tell, and wanted to be able to present this to council, give you guys an opportunity to hear about the project in a little bit more detail and the schedule for when we plan to hopefully be back to council with bid award and ultimately construction of the project. So Brent, I'll ask you to walk the council through the presentation and then look forward to any comments or questions the council has.
Right, Brent, oh, there he is. Oh, Brent, you're on mute. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me
there
now?
You are. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Vega, council members. Can you see my PowerPoint? Okay,
yes,
good.
We can.
Okay, so Tonight, the action tonight is to approve the plans and bid package for this project. Plan to go out to bid with the project in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then we'll be returning to council with contract award in about 2 months. Okay, so limits here on this project are Matmore Road from Gibson Road to East Main Street. So about a mile length there. And then also East Gum Avenue from Matmore to East Street. So about a half mile on that section. Real quick, the scope is roadway improvements, pavement rehab, so complete reconstruction of the road, improved pavement markings, and then traffic signal improvements. The method of construction is it's called full depth reclamation, which is basically recycling the asphalt. Further scope is bike pedestrian improvements. So what we have is called buffered on-street bike lanes. So if you can see from the cross section here, there's 5 feet of bike lane and then 2 feet of buffer. So that's kind of a striped buffer you'll probably see that in a couple different locations in town, Kentucky Avenue and a few others. And then a more narrow travel lane here, 10 feet, 10 to 11 feet. And then parking is 7.5 to 8 feet. So also includes ADA curb ramp improvements, sidewalk repairs, not full sidewalk repairs, but repairs where there's ADA concerns. Upgrade school pedestrian lighted crosswalk, that's at Prairie on Matmore, and then bus stop improvements also. Schedule and traffic. So this is a 2-season construction schedule from spring of this year through December of 2023. This year we have utility upgrades, so we have to leave time and allowance for PG&E, AT&T, and any others to relocate their lines to make sure they're below the future road section. And then also sidewalk repairs, and then next year is the big pavement work and some electrical work too with the signals. Traffic impacts, daytime work only, lane and intersection closures, signal operation changes, and pedestrian access. The pedestrian access will be maintained throughout. And then budget, here's the funding. This actually shows up as, so SB1 funding, 4.4 million, Measure A, Measure F, and then a little bit of water and sewer because there is some coordination for water and sewer. We actually worked with SACOG to do a switch of funding. So we actually put all of the SACOG transportation funding, federal transportation funding on the East Main Street project. And then this project doesn't have any SACOG funding. So the efficiency there is the federal, whenever you use federal dollars, it adds some time, administrative paperwork to the project. So this project will run a little more efficiently because it doesn't have that. And then East Main Street already had federal funding on it, and so there's no additional paperwork. It just means we put all of our federal money on that project. And then the only state money we have is SP1, which has pretty minor reporting requirements. So just easier from an administrative standpoint and accounting standpoint. So that's, I should also note, so project lead, project manager on this is Diana Yon, and Katie Wursell was also involved in that also. They were not available for council meeting tonight, but I just want to shout out to them for all their work on this project. Any questions?
Madam Mayor?
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. Oh,
Sorry.
yes? Okay, I see, let's see, we have Councilmember Garcia Cadena. Yes, raise your hand and then we'll go to you, Councilmember Stoller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you, Brent. I have a question with the traffic impacts. We're all hopeful that our fair will be taking place this year. Do you anticipate that GUM will be closed to traffic in August?
Yeah, they'll probably, this year, there's utilities. Oh, sorry, the fair. Yeah, the utility stuff is really intermittent. And so I don't know, I mean, there might be, a day here or a day there, but I think certainly there'll be discussion and work around with the fair.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Stallard?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to clarify that SACOG did award money for this project, working with SACOG combined with the other one and switch the funds essentially. So SACOG put over $5 million into this project, and it ended up, if you're going to have to comply with federal rules, it's nicer to do it on one project than two projects. So that was the efficiency. But SACOG did allocate about $5 million with this project. Is that correct?
That's correct. And then that was traded with East Main Street. Right. And so the city still received that money. We just received it on East Main Street. But it was intended, it originally was awarded to this project.
In respect of the Matmore project. It's important to me that people realize that we are getting this money allocated from SACOG for each of our projects, even if we consolidated two projects worth of money onto one project. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Madam Mayor, I have a question for Brent.
Okay, Councilmember Lansford, let's go with Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez, has your hand raised, and then we'll go follow with you.
That's fine.
Brent, I actually don't have a question. I just want to make a comment that the residents of this area, District 4, will appreciate when the work is finally completed. I'm sure you've heard for years the complaints about Matmore Road. So I just want to thank you for the work that is being done, and that eventually we'll have roads that the residents will be able to drive over without having to lose any parts of their vehicles.
Yep, this has needed it for a while.
Councilmember Lansford?
Thank you. Brent, it's no secret that costs have continued to rise 2021 and 2022. The cost estimate that you have on here, does that look pretty good, or you might, will you be expecting to have to come back to council?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions out there, quite frankly. We did get a bid today on a utilities job that was a little bit higher than expected, but I mean, probably in the 5%, 10% range. And some of the question is, has that already been included in the engineer's estimate? So, you know, that is certainly a question. I mean, so yeah, we ultimately don't know what that's going to look like. We have, you know, an engineer's estimate that is our best guess right now. I think it's difficult, especially this is a 2-year construction project. So, you know, there are some concerns from contractors about, you know, committing to something, committing to prices that are 2 years. I mean, we're concerned about that. There are some adjustments that are already built into the contract that are based on, I think, cost of oil in terms of pavement. So some of that is, you know, might be more matching market conditions, and is the contractor doesn't have to guess because they know some of those things. It's already built into the cost, their cost structure.
And then
but ultimately, we'll have to see.
I have another question, and I see that Maria Patchen is still on the line. And it's this question. This is a prevailing wage project. Do our contracts call for recognizing and participating with Association of Women in Construction and things like that? They're protected groups.
Yeah, I don't know the exact specifics. It is a prevailing wage job. That's true. I know, yeah, so aside from that, I don't know the specifics. I think we could follow up and update council on that.
I would be very interested in knowing if the city council is including a diversity, equity, and inclusion element to projects within the city limits. It would be very important.
And I think, Maria, that was my question. I think our contracts do call for that, but I wonder if your organization is included. You know, my eyes were opened. I did not know about your group, to be honest. Thank you for your participation. I did look up the statistics for your organization, and it's good that you are 99.1% of what a man gets paid, which is far more than other women in the workforce. So I hope that other organizations take your lead, that you should be at the same pay rate as any other individual, including men. So thank you for your organization. And Brent, if we just get that question answered, our contracts and how inclusive they really are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot, Richard, that you went and looked at that. I know on the projects that Rudolph and Sletton does, when we work with clients, that's a big element of looking at who the apprentices are that get brought on, making sure that we're including a diverse group from the community. If our communities are diverse, why isn't our workforce? So thank you again.
And then, Brent, I just have a comment. And the comment is, the others were questions. This is my comment. This project can't start soon enough. As you know, this has been one of my missions for quite some time, get this Matmore Road fixed. It's just a disaster. But I know that Craig and his staff and you have put some patches on it, and we're thankful for that. But I'm glad that this thing is finally moving along. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, we are too.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Lansberg. Haven't seen any other comments?
Mayor Vega, Councilmember Fernandez, I have one more question. In our report, thank you. Brent, in our report, it indicates that there'll be outreach and public meetings regarding the progress of the project. Will that occur before it begins, or as it's going, or how does that planned?
Yeah, I don't know the specific public outreach plan. Some of that we put on the contractor, but I would imagine certainly before construction begins. Keep in mind that most of the work in 2022 is going to be kind of incidental or viewed as incidental work, working on a curb ramp at one intersection or something like that, where the big work will happen in 2023. We're asking people to move and rebuild the road, but there'll certainly be a public outreach plan that gets worked out between staff and the contractor, and public will be notified. But some of that is worked out specifically after we have a contractor on board.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Oh, yes, Councilmember Stellar, go ahead.
I would like to point out, because Ms. Patchen is here, that 3 of our key engineers are women that put together these road projects for us. So we're working at the professional end of the stick too, and I couldn't be happy about that. And I really thank those 3 women for the work that they do for the city of Woodland. Brent, you might mention who they are, please.
Yeah, so the project manager is Diana Ione. Her boss principal civil engineer is Katie Wurzel. Clara Olmedo, I don't know if she's involved in this project, but she's been involved in many other capital projects. And she works for Katie also. I should note also Sarah Andriotti is the engineering technician that also works for Katie too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stollard. And yeah, Brent, just please don't take all the glory, okay? Please share with everybody that worked on this project.
Oh, I will.
Good. Okay, all right. So then we'll see no other comments or questions? See any hands raised from my colleagues? So then, Madam, go ahead, Brent. Were you going to say something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So then, Madam Clerk, any public comments that were submitted on this item?
No, none.
Okay. All right. So then, just my colleagues. So is there a motion to approve the plans and specifications and authorized bid for this project?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to see the District 4 representative make the motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Landsberg. I make a motion that we adopt the resolution to continue with the repair, approve the plans and specifications of authorizing the bid advertisement for the Matmore Road and Eastcombe Avenue Rehabilitation Project, CIP 1905.
Landsberg will move Councilmember Fernandez's outstanding motion.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call roll. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez and second by Councilmember Landsberg.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena.
Aye.
Councilmember Landsberg.
Aye.
Councilmember Stallard.
Aye.
Mayor Vega.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0.
Wonderful. Okay, now we're on to item number 13, personal cultivation of cannabis ordinance. So, Mr. Hyatt, are you going to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll do a very brief intro on this one and then hand it over to Chief Caff and our city attorney, Ethan Walsh. So this ordinance amendment pertains to the city's cultivation ordinance and would provide additional strengthening of our ability to enforce illegal cultivation occurring on private property in our community in our ongoing efforts to regulate and also enforce illegal activity pertaining to the cannabis industry. We found amendments to the ordinance would be necessary and beneficial to us to strengthen our efforts to address those illegal activities and improve overall quality of life for those that happen to live or operate a business next door to these. So we put together some amendments and look forward to getting these in place to assist our code enforcement and law enforcement efforts.
All right, thank you. Yep. Chief Caff.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. I'll make this really easy. So this came out of the feedback that we've been receiving from the community that the outdoor illegal grows and the smells they absolutely are a problem during the growing season. And so our staff with code enforcement, we've been dealing with communications with the surrounding agencies and jurisdictions. We want to make sure that we are not the soft spot in the ordinances. And in that, we realized that the existing fine or penalty for having an illegal marijuana grow in Woodland just isn't adequate. It isn't dissuading people from committing that crime that affects the neighbors and everybody around. And so this change with the ordinance will bring us on par with the surrounding jurisdictions so that we can make sure we have all the tools necessary for the employees, both code enforcement and police, to address those issues in a timely fashion. And hopefully what the end result also is that council will stop getting all those complaints from constituents when they have those illegal grows in their area. With that, I want to turn it over to our city attorney, Ethan Walsh, and he can clarify a couple of items for us.
Thank you, Chief. Mayor and Council, I just had a clarification on the action you were taking because of a discrepancy between what was in your council packet and what I provided to you later in the day. In your packet, you received a proposed ordinance, or excuse me, a proposed resolution that would make the changes. But since these penalties are set forth in the city's municipal code, they have to be adopted by ordinance. And so I substituted that out for an ordinance that is substantively exactly the same information that Chief Cap just outlined. It's just in an ordinance format rather than a resolution. So tonight's action would be to introduce the ordinance and waive further reading, and then it would come back for adoption at your next meeting and then be effective 30 days after that. I'm happy to answer any questions on that point.
Thank you, Chief Caff, and thank you, Mr. Walsh. So I'll open up to my colleagues. Are there any questions? No, Councilmember Landsberg, coming off mute.
I just, I just think that, 6 plants, you have to be Cheech and Chong. Stupid dogs. They're not trained like.
Is Chase still on the line?
It's not, you aren't trained at all. With 6 plants, you can sure produce a lot of marijuana if you know what you're doing. And, I don't know how many of the people that you run into, Derek, have 6 plants or just 1 plant, because 6 plants will keep Cheech and Chong and change for the rest of the year. But I don't know. I just, it's you're putting a finger in the dike. The illegal growth of marijuana is killing the legal business in California. Everybody knows that. So we do what we can to try to reduce the effect of illegal grows. It's too bad that the legislature takes a different view of it, and all we really do is give them a little fine. So thank you for the effort.
Thank you, Councilmember Landsberg. I'll add some comments. I get contacted by residents who deal with these illegal grows in the neighborhood and have heard a lot of stories around how it impacts, the quality of life and, impacts neighborhoods, sometimes entire cul-de-sacs. So, I'm glad to see this come up and see that code enforcement is going to have support and have something that will allow them to enforce and take action on these illegal grows. All right, I don't see any other action. So, Ms. Walsh, let me get this straight. So then for tonight for council, it's there a motion to adopt staff recommendation to amend the code to change the penalty provisions for violations regarding personal cultivation of cannabis. Did I get that right?
Yeah, the motion would be to, it changed a little bit since the staff report. The motion would be to introduce the proposed ordinance and waive further reading.
Okay, so introduce for first reading.
Right, introduce the proposed ordinance and waive further reading.
Staff, Ballard moves for acceptance of the ordinance as submitted and waive the first reading.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Stallard. I'd like to second Councilmember Stallard's motion. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call a vote?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Fernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia Cadena.
Aye.
Councilmember Landsberg.
Aye.
Councilmember Stallard.
Aye.
Mayor Vega.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0 as amended by City Attorney Ethan Walsh.
We're almost under an hour. Just keep going.
Almost. The pressure's on.
Motion to extend the meeting.
No.
Can you please give us the March 1 agenda? We're ready for it. Must have been that retreat.
It was efficient all the way, Councilmember Stallard. See, I promised it was. So, okay, I think that's the end of our agenda for today. And do we have any memorial adjournments for tonight? Oh, okay. So we're adjourning 6:59.
Thank you. Good night.
Bravo. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, everybody.